Welcome to the Small Business Office Showcase, where daily we provide you a quick tour of a government agency's small business portal or something similar from a large prime. We understand that as a small business, time and resources are limited. We hope by quickly summarizing this information, we save you time and perhaps put you one step closer to your next contract. In this episode, we're going to try to focus on the Department of Defense. Really, we're thinking at the high level, but you'll see us touch on a lot of the subordinate units on the Department of Defense as well, briefly. But to make it easier for you to quickly do your own research, the links that we discuss here will be in the description below. In this episode and each episode, we're targeting 6 pieces of information we think are most valuable to you. Does this agency or department have a small business portal? Does this department list out events it hosts or attends so that you can plan well in advance? Is there a forecast for the next 12 to 24 months that will help you identify opportunities? Does the agency provide a list of current primes that have an obligation to subcontract to small businesses? Is there any special registration required for this department other than what's required for the entire federal government? And then finally, is there a list of people available that you could reach out to for help or to get questions answered? You can already see the basic information on this slide, but let's go ahead and do our walkthrough tour. Keep in mind that anytime you see these small links, don't worry about that. I just wanted to keep my links on one page. All of them will be in the description of the video though, so they'll be easy for you to access. So the first thing we do is look to see, do they have a portal page for the SBO? And they do. Clearly the Department of Defense has a very good page, and I'll talk about it in a minute, but leadership is very strongly behind small businesses. So here on this page, there's a lot you can see just from the page itself. As you go down, it's got a lot of information where it's kind of, teaching you again what you might know already as it relates to SBA information, but this special funding opportunities, if you do not recognize these 6 terms, then I would absolutely go in there and explore it. Just take 2 to 4 hours and just read them, learn about it. You don't have to look at every opportunity, but understand what these things are, because they're designed to help us and as small businesses, and there are opportunities that a lot of times aren't pursued. And down here, they just talk about some of their goals. So they've got news. You can take a look at that. But the other thing I wanted to show is they just have a really strong site in here. Clearly, it's the Department of Defense, and this is their primary location for small business information, which is awesome. So you can cruise through here. This is where I clearly got a lot of the links I'm going to show you. So anyways, that's the portal page, and it's a good page. We're going to move down to events. Do they have events? And here you can see they do have events. I find it kind of ironic that for a small business portal, which is, I think we're the audience, but this small business training week 18 is not for contractors. It's for the government only. So it seems like kind of a misplaced ad if they're trying to target us. But maybe they're targeting also this site to the government employees as well. Anyways, but it does have a lot of good events here listed out. This is a great calendar for you to begin to plan your year out, looking at all these different ideas that are out there and see what is available to you. I find this awesome because I put it together with a lot of the other activities, and you can plan your year's worth of activities. If anybody in a small business wonders about, how do I plan my marketing or conference budgets, it's hard to do that if you don't know the events. And here they give you a good idea of what's coming out in the next year. So great job, DoD, for giving us a lot of events to look at. Forecasting and subcontracting, they do a really good job. So let's go to the forecasting one. Inside of forecasting, this is where I was talking about. I'll touch a little bit on other components of the Department of Defense or other departments within the Department of Defense. So in here, you can see forecasting for a lot of different agencies. The ones that you might see up here on acquisition technology. One thing that was a little hard for me that I was trying to find, and I didn't quite find it, and I'll just reach out to the Small Business Office to learn more. But, where do I find the actual Department of Defense headquarter type opportunities? And I'm assuming they're listed under something else. I don't know whether it's DIS or somewhere else, but, those opportunities would be great. But anyways, look at all this information. You could be busy here for weeks identifying opportunities that could fit with your small business. So good job on the forecast. The next one I mentioned was subcontracting. They have a phenomenal site for subcontracting in here. Clearly, you can look at the directory. One thing I didn't mention on the forecast, if you go all the way to the bottom, they also put in a table of where they spent the money in 2016. As you're looking forward, they provide a lot of information for you to be able to plan how to grow your business, how to target particular program offices that have spent money on what you sell. So here for the subcontracting, it's the same thing. They point you to a whole different set of tools that you can learn about subcontracting. You can try to get in and register in different places. They've got their own DoD prime contractor. Go ahead and open this guy. So as we go into this one I really like, and I just wanted to show you pretty quickly. Got it normal, home, and then I'll zoom in really quick just so you see it. This part is awesome. They provide a lot of information. They talk about when the prime contract started, but then as you go over, you have points of contact for these vendors, and this is amazing. I mean, the amount of information here, if you're trying to get into the DoD, look at the amount of contracts that are here for you to be able to reach out to folks, introduce yourself. You got an email address, you got a phone number. Some of the best ways to do it is to just use a phone number. If I get rid of this really quick, the number of, so there's over 12,000 rows in here. There is a lot of information. This one spreadsheet alone is a valuable marketing tool, not to spam, but to really identify where you're trying to go into, what business opportunities you're trying to go after, and then you can choose to call those people and begin to build your relationship with them. But phenomenal subcontracting directory from the Department of Defense there. Go ahead and close that. That was that one. And then the last one, the registration, I didn't see anything special for DoD. They just talk about go to SAM and some of the other ones. But the contacts, they do have a good amount of contacts in multiple ways. So in here, one of the things I noticed is they don't have I didn't really see individual contacts like here's a small business officer. And I think either I didn't find it, or more importantly, I think down below you'll find more, like the Army and the Navy. They all have their own, and they have tons of them. So at the defense level, it's something different. But the reason I brought this page up is because it does have the leadership. And I just watched some YouTube videos with Dr. Galvin here, who's very committed to small business, to DoD success by using small businesses, is how I would kind of state it. So I watched some videos of him and with another lady, where's her? Miss Williams. And these two, when you just listen to them, you can hear how committed they are to helping us achieve success in support of the mission of the Department of Defense. So, these are people you might be able to reach out to one way or another. Like maybe they got a Twitter account or something that you can follow. You can find them at events and introduce yourself. They're worthwhile people to get to know because they champion small businesses throughout the entire Department of Defense. I'm going to go back to the main page. There's a lot to learn in the Department of Defense. This is just a quick tour, so all I'm trying to do is give you some links that get you started on that path. There'll be a lot of other videos on each one of those individual Department of Defense offices, so look for those ones as well. That concludes this walkthrough, though. I hope you found this information helpful as you continue to grow your business. Please provide any comments below or reach out to me directly if you have any questions using my email address that'll be in the description below. I'm your host, Neil McDonald with SV MacPack. I thank you for joining me today and hope you'll join me again for more video tours.